And we're off. Louisville, Kentucky. In your house. Wait. I'm not Vince McMahon. I'm JML. Charlie.
Yo.
We are the Chamber Pod. This is a look back in time. In Your House 6. There was no name of this pay-per-view. It was just In Your House 6. The last look back in time we did was Royal Rumble 1996. We are going through the year of 1996, WWF style. So this was the next landmark event on the calendar. Before we get into that, just wanted to get into some housekeeping things. I appreciate the views, the likes, and the shares. It's been really awesome. Charlie.
Subscribes. We're at 350 now.
Yep. Over 350, which is phenomenal. Not in a million years did I think we would get to this point so early on in our infancy of a channel. And with great, having a platform and having a voice and having a community and being part of other communities on YouTube in particular, you come across some really great people. One of those is Patrick Carter, who's in the card breaking community. He's always in the chat rooms. Really cool dude. Big supporter of this channel and many other channels. You may know him as Back to Back Pat or MPLS Pat. That's been his two YouTube names. 2 nights ago, he lost all the possessions that he had, family heirlooms, etc., in a house fire. It's really hard to ask for help. So Patrick, he reached out to me yesterday, and he said, "Do you mind making a GoFundMe?" And I'm a man. I mean, Charlie can attest to this. I'm a man of action. If someone says, "Hey, can you do this?" and I'm free, like I'm on it right away. And I put together the GoFundMe, and I'm also overwhelmed and overjoyed with the support, not just the dollar amount. And I'll put the GoFundMe up on the screen here in a minute. I'm just overwhelmed by the fact that it was shared, the kind words that were given to him, the encouragement. Like, that goes a long way. And yeah, I've never lost everything in a fire, but when you're down and out, it's always good to know that there's good people out there that are willing to help in whatever which way they can.
Definitely.
And that's the part of being part of a platform or building a platform to me, and I could speak for Charlie as well, is being able to help others. Like, yeah, it's cool if one day, this platform can help support all of us that are involved with this channel. But if we can help other people and change their lives in the process, that means more to me than anything else. And I would speak for Charlie. He feels the same way.
That's what it's all about. Absolutely.
So I'm gonna put the GoFundMe up here momentarily. Just give me 1 second. So that's the GoFundMe. We've raised a little under $2,300 in a little over 24 hours, which is awesome. And he's rebuilding everything. He literally just has the clothes on his back and his wallet. So whatever you can do to help, try to help. I have all his personal details, so you can reach out to me directly. I'll put all my stuff in our YouTube comment section so you can reach out to me. He's going to need clothes, sneakers, the whole 9 yards. So whatever you guys could do to help, even sharing it will go a long way. Charlie, any words that you want to say?
It's very unfortunate, but like JML said, anything you guys can do to help, even if you can't give any money towards it, sharing goes longer. It goes a longer way than you know.
Yep. That's the power, and that's the good part of social networking / social media. There's a lot of bad, but there is this nugget of good, and let's utilize the platform for what it should be utilized for, and that's helping and encouraging others. And this is the opportunity to do that. With that being said, very tough to transition from something like that to wrestling, but I think that's what Pat will want us to do today. And with that being said, In Your House 6, Louisville, Kentucky. I know that. And why do I know that, Charlie? Why do I know that without looking at the screen?
Because Vince McMahon said it about 37 times in the opening 2 matches.
Do you think there was some sort of inside joke or rib? Because he said it like an obnoxious amount of times.
I have no idea what he was going for, but he certainly let it be known that they were in Louisville, Kentucky.
So to give you guys some background, the commentary team was Lawler and Vince. I kind of miss Perfect. I liked Perfect on commentaries for the Royal Rumble, but can't go wrong with Lawler and McMahon during this era either. So some background in case you didn't watch or listen to our Royal Rumble 96 episode. Shawn Michaels won the Royal Rumble. Bret Hart and Taker, basically no decision. Bret Hart and what was the main event
of Rumble?
Yeah,
Bret Hart and Taker.
Okay, and I'm just having a brain freeze.
Yeah.
So, because they're all blending in. They're all blending in now. And that's what happens when you have like the top 4 people in the company are all essentially baby faces. Some storylines that were ramping up is obviously you had Michaels winning the Rumble, the whole thing with Owen Hart and him, which is going to culminate in a match tonight. You had at the Royal Rumble the whole 1, 2, 3 kid interfering in the match with Razor and Jarrett. Razor losing the Intercontinental belt. We get the first match on the card, which was the Crybaby match. Do you want to explain to the audience, Charlie, what the stipulation of the Crybaby match was?
The Crybaby match was the loser gets diapered and fed a baby bottle in the middle of the ring by the winner, which is an absolutely ridiculous stipulation, but this was WWF in the 90s.
Isn't it actually embarrassing for both participants?
Yeah.
So this is a match where it was a good match. It was a fine match. Razor had this tendency to kick off a lot of pay-per-views. Like we went through a lot of 93 through 96, and he kicked off a ton of pay-per-views. And even here, still probably one of the most over guys on the entire roster.
Something about that theme song kicking off pay-per-views too. It just hits right.
Yeah. If that theme is not in your top 10, you're not a wrestling fan. I never liked the 1, 2, 3 kid as a heel. Like this clean cut 1, 2, 3 kid as a heel. I couldn't buy it.
have had the ratty looking goatee at least.
Yeah. And that's why I appreciate, later on this year when he goes to WCW and becomes 6, he grew out the beard,
Yeah.
he had the ratty look, and he really had that scumbag heel persona like down pat. And then by the time he made his way back to WWF, he was cemented like he could be a heel. This incarnation of Sean Waltman / 123 Kid as a heel, I just couldn't buy it. Even with DiBiase with him, it just didn't fit. This will be Razor's second to last pay-per-view appearance with WWF. He will get suspended shortly after this, so he's not on the WrestleMania 12 card, which will irritate him. But he also gave his notice somewhere in between the suspension and WrestleMania 12. So he misses the WrestleMania payday. Obviously, Vince didn't want to pay these guys the guaranteed money or the less dates or whatever, however the contracts were structured. But you got to think at the time, Razor was probably moving a lot of merchandise. He was probably making almost the same amount of money. So I think what it really boiled down to was the fact that he didn't have to work as much and got paid the same. What was your thoughts on that whole scenario?
I don't know what he was suspended for, so I can't really speak much on behalf of that.
I think he was suspended for a drug test.
Drug test?
Like marijuana. Like it wasn't like, like a hardcore drug.
Yeah. I didn't even know that he was supposed to be in the Hollywood Backlot Brawl with Goldust. That Piper took his spot in that. But if he was getting paid to stay home for suspension before leaving the company, then he was totally that type to do so with no complaints.
Yep. I did not like the $1 Million Corporation. I've been on record many times on this show saying it was probably one of the worst factions in the history of wrestling. I do not know why it was pushed so much. And it wasn't like DiBiase did anything for anyone. He actually, in many ways, overshadowed most of the superstars that he managed.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like DiBiase retired from in the ring and there was a huge gap between him performing in the ring and him becoming a manager, where you're like, oh.
Well, for the most part, he was the manager around this time.
Yeah. But I think in the eyes of many people, though, there was always this inkling of, oh, when is DiBiase going to get back in the ring?
Wow,
like
okay.
That was always in the back, where it overshadowed the people that he was managing. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Duke Drozé. What do you expect me to say about this match? I would say Charlie would expect me to say this was garbage, pun intended.
A dumpster.
This was not. This was not garbage. This was actually pretty decent.
Pretty good back and forth in this.
There was some storyline, right? Because he got his hair cut by Triple H. In what a smoke show he brought to the ring. Oh, geez. Elizabeth Hilden.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. There may or may not be some stuff on the internet with her, but that's neither here nor there. Too bad Duke Drozé couldn't cut a promo and he was stuck with a bad gimmick. Like, if anyone should have joined the $1 Million Corporation, it should have been Duke Drozé. It would have made more sense. The sellout garbage man for the money.
It would have made a lot of sense.
It would have made more sense.
Yeah.
But yet we put, Tatanka in the $1 Million Corporation, and you didn't need to put Tatanka in the $1 Million Corporation. Yeah, solid match. This was like the ramp up for the supposed Triple H winning King of the Ring this year. But then the curtain call happens, plans change. Austin wins King of the Ring. There's a burial. When
We
we
just
talk when we talk about WrestleMania 12, like people get everything confused. They think the curtain call happened before WrestleMania 12. No, 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 no. It happens after. And the reason why people think the curtain call happened before WrestleMania 12 is the Warrior Triple H match that lasted a minute and a half. That squash match between.
oh, true. I can see why people thought that.
We'll dive into that when we talk about WrestleMania 12
Yeah,
next week, which I'm very excited to talk about. I was there. I witnessed greatness that night. Um, your thoughts overall? The Garbage Man in the Connecticut Blue Blood, Triple H.
Triple H's shot with the trash can lid on Duke Drosy was incredible.
It
He really got it wrong.
usually when people use that garbage lid, I'm like, man, that doesn't look like it hurts at all. But when he hit Drose, I'm like, man, that looked like it hurt. That was like the best garbage lid shot of all time. Now, speaking of garbage, our next match, and it sucks to talk about two legends this way, but we have to talk about it. Yokozuna, British Bulldog. What the hell was this?
With all due respect, they booked it completely wrong, making it a squash on Zuna's part throughout the entirety of this match. Bulldog's clotheslines and anything was of no effect to Yokozuna, and I don't know. I think the whole match was booked poorly, but that
The
just
reason why it was booked that way is because they were trying to ramp up the Vader Yokozuna match that was supposed to happen.
you don't have to make Bulldog look like an absolute turd in the process of that, though.
No. This was an opportunity to throw a lower tier guy, a lower tier heel on the roster against Yoko. Didn't need to be Bulldog. Yoko shouldn't have been in the ring by himself. He shouldn't have been in the ring for more than 2 minutes at a time. He couldn't go anymore. He was about a year and a half over his expiration date as
Yeah.
a solo competitor. And it's unfortunate because there's so much talent there. And even at his weight here, you could see the athleticism that he still had. Like he still had portions of it. If he
Mhm.
was able to keep the weight under control, Lord knows where he would have been. He I mean, obviously he would probably still be here with us, but like it's one of those where he had a Hall of Fame career, but what would have become of this career had he stayed in relatively good shape?
Even if he could get himself down to Kishi shape, he would still be here, and that's, I don't know. It was definitely towards the darker end of his career. You could tell.
Yep. Now, we're going to talk about the next match. It was the singles match that determined the number one contender at WrestleMania between Shawn Michaels and Owen Hart. Do you want to give a little of the background as to why this stipulation was made and how this feud came to be?
Uh, how long was Michaels out after the Insigiri?
It was like a couple months.
Okay. So on Raw, they main evented, and Owen hit Shawn Michaels with an Insigiri, knocking him out. And that was when the whole Tell Me a Lie music video came out for Shawn Michaels. Because that Slammy is going into WrestleMania. It was Tell Me a Lie versus You Start a Fire in Me in music videos. Your boy Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
Why is it my boy?
Bret Hart?
You say that with like malice.
I was a Shawn Michaels guy. You're clearly a Bret Hart guy.
Damn right.
Anywho, so Owen took credit for knocking Shawn out of action for the next 2 months, and I guess felt as he was the number one contender. Shawn came back, won the Royal Rumble, and decided to put his number one contendership spot up against Owen Hart at this pay-per-view. In a classic match. This was match for the night.
Yeah, this is a very overlooked, underappreciated match. The one thing that I hate about this match is the stipulation. I hate when they put WrestleMania title shots on the line.
Because it makes it obvious, but
It makes it way too obvious. It's and they weren't gonna do a triple threat. Like this wasn't in the era where they did triple threat matches.
yeah.
So I just did not like the stipulation, but this match was phenomenal. And what I liked about this match?
What?
They had a cooling off portion of this match, and they built back up. They cooled off. They built back up. It wasn't just the spot fest. If
Yeah.
if this match was booked in 2022, right, and this was an AEW, or WWF, current WWE, right, they would literally be going balls to the wall for the entirety of the match. And that's what's missing in today's wrestling. Is there has to be a story. There has to be I'm attacking a body part. I'm selling the head injury. I'm selling this. When Owen did the Insiguri again to Michaels, the audience bought it. They were like
in shock.
Holy shit, is he gonna lose? Like, or is he gonna be able to finish this match? Commentary sold it. The storytelling going into the match, the audience accepting the storyline, the way that they didn't do 8 million shots to the head previously, sold the head injury and the concussion. If this was a Young Bucks match, Shawn Michaels would have got hit with 8 super kicks in 30 seconds.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. If that's your cup of tea, that's fine. And there's many of times where I like Young Buck matches when they're thrown together in principle of the match, right? Like the match that the Young Bucks had against Hangman and Kenny Omega. Love that match. You know why I also love that match? There was somewhat of a storyline there with the 4 participants of the match.
Yeah.
Ugh. But this match here, in my opinion, is a 5-star match.
Absolutely. Match of the night.
And we talk about Razor, we talk about Kurt Hennig, we talk about many people that should have won a world title. Owen Hart should have won the world title.
Yeah. At least once.
At least once. And it's unfortunate because obviously Owen meets his untimely demise way too early in life. But it makes me wonder, if Owen had not met his demise, I think he really would have been in that Kurt Angle spot eventually, where he was like a transitional or they had a couple of runs, or the Jericho spot, like the spots that were given to other people because there was a void. Like Owen probably would have got that opportunity to hold it at least once.
The funny thing is, it should have been around this point that he won it too, because he was the star of 95.
94, 95, like
And he was still getting number one contendership matches here. So some point between 94 and 96, he should have, even if it was transitional.
he's the biggest heel in the company.
Yeah.
And he puts on arguably the best matches, along with obviously his brother and HBK. You have three studs there. They should have been able to figure that out.
Yeah.
Like the entirety of Diesel's WWF title run, I don't remember him and Owen having a match for the title. And how could that be? How could that be? He had matches with Bulldog. He had matches with Mabel. Could you imagine how much better Diesel's run would have been if, number one, they didn't make it for a full year and they would have had him drop the belt at least once during it and then picked it back up over someone like an Owen?
Yeah.
Owen Hart, if he's not in your top 15 wrestlers of all time, you need to examine your head.
Agreed.
Like, GOAT scale competitor. Like,
then, even if you're not going to go back and watch all the pay-per-views that we're going back and reviewing, it's keynotes and key matches like this one. Just turn on this match and just witness how great he was. Shawn Michaels, Owen Hart in Your House 6.
Watch the vignettes too before the match, the lead up into it.
Yeah.
Because all of that sells this match. It really does. That recipe is often missing in today's product. And they did a really great job here of executing the storyline to a T. Then we have the main event. And you would think, with the two guys in the ring, who I like personally, I think Diesel is very underrated. And Bret Hart's obviously, I'm a little biased, but probably he's the 1A or 1B best wrestler during this time period. And I did not like this match.
No.
Steel cage match, WWF Championship, booked a little bit under 20 minutes.
You had double face in this too.
Why didn't they pull the trigger, like I said previously at the Royal Rumble show? It's in the archives. It was the last episode. Literally, you can click on it and listen to it. You can comment on that one. You can comment on this one. They should have turned Diesel heel at the Rumble. He should have attacked Shawn. It would have made more sense leading into this match. Because now, when you pay this match off with how you pay it off with The Undertaker helping Bret win, I'm so confused as the average fan watching this back and going, who's supposed to be the heel here? Because it feels like to me The Undertaker and Bret Hart have just screwed Diesel out of the championship. And now Diesel has every right to want to backstab everyone else.
You had a babyface costing a babyface a match against the babyface. It's not how you mathematically put together a wrestling match. I don't know.
And to have the Undertaker basically standing tall at the end of this event,
Yeah,
it just made no sense to me whatsoever, considering the fact the Undertaker wasn't in any matches during the whole show. And by the way, is not main eventing WrestleMania. How this should have been was a clean finish. You have the stare down between Brett and Shawn here. Here. You do the stare down here because it's already been determined Michaels is going to WrestleMania to face the champion, and it's going to be Brett. Steel cage comes up. Brett and Michaels do their little stare off. Diesel goes in, right? This is how I would have rebooked it. Diesel comes in, it power bombs both of them. Jackknife, boom, boom. Now he's completely heel. Taker comes out. The good guys get back up. They have their comeuppance, right? Then you have at the end of the show the three baby faces standing tall. Then you have Brett and Shawn lock eyes again. And then this is where they should have had the damn WrestleMania sign and then have them point at the sign. That would have made more sense. What the hell were they thinking here?
I don't know. They booked themselves into a corner with the three baby faces.
Everything that I just said about great storytelling for Michaels and Owen Hart, they shit the bed completely with this one. You have Hall of Famers involved in this match, and you completely F it up. Completely F it up. There's no defined roles.
No.
As a pay-per-view, this is the first In Your House, I believe, that we have done.
Yeah.
What would you rate this show?
Probably 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5? I would give it about the same. Yeah, about a 3. What did you think of the In Your House concept? We haven't talked about it.
It is to what NXT events are now. You put less matches, aim for higher quality in those less matches, and tell the stories that lead to the big time pay-per-views through them.
Yeah. It's funny because I've already watched through a bunch of 96 already. And the roster just changes so much over the next few pay-per-views that it's almost unrecognizable. I'm excited about it. There's certain aspects I'm not excited about. I hope the audience is going to continue to join us on this journey. Please let us know what you thought about this episode. The comments down below, like, share, subscribe. Charlie, words of wisdom.
And as always, if there's an event that you guys want us to review, we'll go off the beaten path and review that before we go on to our next show. You guys have control of what events we go back and watch and review.
We are men of the people. People power.
People power.
JML, Charlie, as per usual, whenever you watch this, it doesn't matter. My sign off and our sign off is always good night and good luck. Peace be with you.
Peace.